Welcome back. It's time for today's Tech Check. We have two big stories in the media space and two all-star reporters to help break them down, Deirdre Bosa and Julia Borston. But we are starting with Netflix. The company set to report results after the bell today. This as Hollywood kicks off a writer's strike that has the potential to disrupt the entire industry. Dee, let's start with you on what to expect from earnings.
Well, it was just a year ago when Netflix saw its first subscriber loss in a decade. I know Julia's been talking about this as well. That's when they really put the emphasis on profitability over subscriber growth. And that has really led Netflix to outpace its rivals on that measure. So they're going to do that again. More than $1 billion expected in net income. That's going to help them there. But investors are going to be interested about some of the other stuff as well. An update on the password sharing crackdown, on its progress abroad, its ad-supported tier. And of course, guys, what the heck happened with Love is Blind over the weekend and what happened with their first live event in ages?
Julia, now we say, okay, as soon as they can kind of get through a couple of these landmines, the writer strike. Had they ever faced a writer? Is this the first big writer strike in the streaming world or no?
It is really the first big writer strike in streaming world. And I have to say, we don't know for sure if the walkout's going to happen. The deadline is May 1st. So they have a couple more weeks to work things out. But if they don't, there will be a writer strike on May 1st. This is the WGA and the studios. But I think what's so interesting here, and I'm sure we'll hear questions about it on Netflix's earnings call, is that the companies that have more international exposure, that have more international production, may be better insulated against the impact of a writer strike, which is about writers here in the U.S. Of course, so much of Netflix's business is overseas and so much of the production is overseas. And we've seen the success of some of these foreign language and foreign language series and also just series that are shot in other countries and seen the success here in the U.S. So they may benefit from that. But it's going to be a really interesting quarter, potentially of transition, where maybe we'll hear a little bit about the success of the ad-supported platform. And a lot of investors are very anxious to get details about when Netflix is going to be launching the password sharing program, the crackdown on password sharing here in the U.S.
Yeah, a lot to pack into that call later, for sure. Guys, let's switch gears to Meta now, which has reportedly stopped pitching advertisers on the metaverse. That's the whole reason it changed its name, Julia. What are you hearing, and what's the significance of this?
I am hearing that Netflix is still long-term as committed to the metaverse as ever. This is something that Mark Zuckerberg really believes in for his 2030 vision of the company. But in the meantime, in the here and now, Netflix is very much focused on how to generate as much value as possible for advertisers on their platform. And a lot of that actually comes down to AI. We talk about AI all the time on your show, Kelly, and I think there's no doubt that AI is a key buzzword. Meta is really playing into that, and they're really investing in AI to make their tools more effective for advertisers. So I think from a conversational standpoint, they want to make sure that advertisers don't think they've gotten their eye off the ball and they're too distracted about this long-term vision. So they're continuing to work on it, but right now they're trying to use AI to unlock more value for brands today.
And Dee, when you look at Meta's stock price this year, it's just been on a tear. Mark Zuckerberg's wealth has gone up about $30 billion after losing a ton last year. Is it the success of Reels that is driving that? What will be the positive surprise that you look forward to in this quarter and future quarters?
So maybe it's the promise of Reels. They still have some work to do there, as Julia's talked about, in terms of monetizing it. It's been his efficiency drive. He's said that word over and over again. It's really that cost cutting that has led to thousands and thousands of layoffs of its workforce that has caused the stock to jump. Look at that, more than 80% year to date. So I think Mark Zuckerberg's done a really good job in terms of giving investors what they wanted. It's the longer term. Julia alluded to this too, how it's putting the emphasis on artificial intelligence over Meta, the focus on the core really that has been pushing and will probably push Meta higher. And it's kind of funny, guys, because it used to be so easy for Meta to pull in the advertising dollars. It's no longer that simple, easy duopoly it has been for so long. So, the story and the information today, it's alluding to the fact that it has to actually try now. It has to have more regular check-ins with ad agencies to make sure that they have control of that core while working on those longer term projects.
Yeah, they have to actually try. The companies are maturing, aren't they? Deirdre and Julia, thank you both. We appreciate it very much today for Tech Check.